1337.
You know where that's from?
No.
Sounds
Oh my
familiar.
gosh, you guys are just not 80s people. I swear.
I wonder why.
No, dude, you guys are.
Maybe
Are
because
you
everyone here was
wait.
born in the 80s.
Are you telling us how
Except for
old
you.
you are?
Yes, I'm dating myself. It's that was Knight Rider. You know Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff. You know,
Yeah.
80s.
Well, everyone knows the Hoff,
You
yeah.
know
It's
the
been a while
Kits,
since I heard it.
right? Yeah, Kits. You know, which actually stands for Knight Industries 2000. Did you get that?
Mhm.
Yeah, get Kit. You know how? Yeah. All right,
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so I just dated myself. This is Mouse, and I'm totally just making myself feel old amongst these youngins. You know,
Well, we haven't gotten you a cane yet, so
Yeah.
maybe I need a cane. You know, I would just use the cane to just whack people on the head when they're just looking dumb. Hey, you get over
you
here!
did a lot of exercise.
Get over here! This is Mouse, and we got a kind of okay. We got our crew's different again. We've lost Deacon this week due to personal issues, but that's okay because we can run with who we have here. We've changed things around a little bit, so the normal to my left, to my right, it's kind of different. So to my left is
Raina.
Raina. Look at Raina.
Spot on awareness.
She's ready to just trounce and troll my new segment. And
looking
on my
forward to
right
that.
is
Vixen, hey everybody.
Vixen is back again. As if we didn't need to have Raina come on more shows. We got Vixen trying to. They're fighting for how many episodes you guys
This
are
is
on.
my spot now. I'm
And
happy with
instead of my
spot.
front, to my back is the wonderful.
Prison man.
Yeah.
in the shadows.
Nah,
I'm
it's
just-
Tengu. What's up?
I'm trying not to bend over and get the soap today. So we are here, Radio 1337 on urbanizeradio.com, the sound of artists here, and we are having a lot of fun here. In fact, I've just been super, super busy. How you guys have been? How was your week, everybody?
Ugh, very
Oh.
busy.
How so, Miss Vixen?
Lot of work, especially for Mike.
You don't work.
Working on the computer and
Oh
modeling.
yes, at the school which shall
Yeah.
not be named, right?
Yeah.
Raina, are you doing?
I've been hibernating.
You've been hibernating.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Trade
I
you.
mean, even though I have work behind me, I have to hibernate, man.
So you
I need to
gather all
pump
your
up.
food in a little
Oh,
cave.
yes. It's around me. So whenever I get hungry, it's just within hand's reach.
That's a weird visual. I could just
Yeah.
totally see you on your bed, just sprawled out with all the food, just in little pieces around your bed, wrappers on the floor, and like a microwave just sitting on the side.
It's kind
Tengu,
of awesome. That's like falling asleep on a sponge cake and you just get hungry. So you just
God.
reach over and tear a little piece of the pillow off.
ew.
It'd eventually run out though.
Well, that's why you buy a new bed.
Well, what would happen is that you turn your head over and then you would eat the sponge cake, and then after a while your head's all deep inside the.
Sounds good in theory, not good in practice.
No, not a good in
Yeah,
practice.
We'll find
yeah.
out about that later.
Tengu, what have you been doing this weekend?
Also being busy as hell.
You know what? I think it's a busy week for everybody.
I think it's just a busy quarter, man.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
This whole month, and then next month, and then probably the month after that.
We are in convention season, and like I said last week, I was going to go to GamerCon, which was last week. Oh boy, that was just crazy.
But you had fun though.
I had a lot of fun. It was about 10 blocks away from San Diego Comic-Con, and I wasn't planning to go. I had a lot of people that were going, and I could have gotten it easily if I really wanted to. I could have been pro. I could have been press. I had a lot of reasons to go, but I just decided not to because
Because you're a hipster.
Were you
yeah,
feeling okay?
I'm a hipster, huh?
Were you feeling okay?
No, I just don't want to wait in line.
The
like
line
for
ride.
hours and hours and hours. I don't want to wait like from 4 a.m. just to see what the new Breaking Bad trailer is,
Ugh.
or to see like Loki dressed up in all Loki gear.
Well,
in the Marvel panel.
That I actually probably would have waited in line for.
Really?
Yes,
You would've
yes,
waited?
I would have.
For
You
cheap
would have
cosplay?
waited like since 4 a.m. like a lot of people did.
I
It's
would've.
goddamn Loki.
Man,
No, oh no, no,
no.
no.
That is
no.
a sexy man. You have
I-
no idea.
Yes, I agree.
There was like no reason for it beforehand. All of a sudden he became Loki, and he is just sexy beyond belief. And I'm not even down with guys. I mean, come on.
If it was Scarlett Johansson,
Well, if it was
in
Scarlett
her,
Johansson,
I would have been like,
dressed
I'm
as
down.
Loki or as
Then I would
Black
have
Widow,
asked
either
for
way.
a threesome.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh,
Okay.
now we've got a show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 girls and a guy right here.
God.
Oh, 2 girls and a guy, and then we have Tengu in the back right there in
Through
his
a
little
window.
studio. So like he'll be watching.
Eiffel Tower.
So I was at this place called GamerCon, and it was a smaller convention, obviously, and it was held in this hotel, actually in this building that really reminded me of the apartment building from The Big Bang Theory. You know the show Big Bang Theory?
Don't watch TV, but I do know what you're talking about.
So it's you know what I'm talking about, Raina?
No.
Tengu, have you watched it?
No.
So for those people at home, it's an apartment complex that has central elevator that's usually broken down from the series, right? And then the stairs kind of go around it, right? So if you want to go up the stairs, the elevator's right next to it, and then it breaks out in the rooms on the side. But that's what the building was. Look, what the building was.
Mm-hmm.
It was 4 floors of just like awesomeness. The first floor was like video gaming. The second floor was the technical second floor was there to kind of oversee the gaming, and like there was a control room.
So
and
wait,
third-
each floor you can actually see a glimpse of what's happening.
no,
kinda cool.
though the it was where the people that were controlling all the servers and like the game, that's the technical second floor, but the second floor of the game convention, which was the third floor, really,
Uh-huh.
that had the board game room, and they had a couple of other things.
Ooh.
It also had no, I take that back. Yeah, board game. The third floor, the next floor up was a panel room and an art gallery, and the
fourth
next floor
for
up after
whoever's
that.
Keeping track.
Yeah, the next floor after that was the roof. And that's what they had. Like really, it's really cool.
Was it called the roof or was it actually the roof?
It was actually the
So-
roof.
Oh, okay. So nothing
That
happened.
sounds
in
like
the
a
roof.
short building.
It was a small building. It wasn't that big, and there wasn't that many people, but it was. I could walk around there, and I don't have to wait in line for like a panel or anything. I just walk in, and they had some pretty good panels. They had a voice actor panel. I actually got an interview with some of the people.
Oh, cool.
I got an interview with Lady America Young. She was mainly mocap person.
Ooh.
And
Mocap?
she's done a couple of voices somewhere. And then
Mocap is like capturing
Motion capture.
motions with pretty much motion capture.
Oh, okay.
putting the dots on and looking like a silly fairy,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the tights and everything. So sexy.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
sexy.
That's another one of those things, like how I was talking about Foley. If I could get into a job like that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and if a
Wearing
girl wears
tights?
it, it's like the final scene of a porn. Anyway, so
It's like Zero Suit Samus, but in all black.
yeah, pretty much. Well, GamerCon was good. I went there 2 days, and there was the first day was comedians. They had comedians up there
Oh,
talking.
cool.
They had, talking about gaming, funny things. They were pretty cool. I think the name was one of the guys' names. His name was Ron Swallow. Yeah, he was a comedian, and he goes, "Yes, just make fun of it right now." And then he just went
Ron.
off on his name. It was really cool.
Wow.
Well, good icebreaker, I guess.
It was. Then the second night I was there, they had a concert. They had 3 different people performing. They had Godric Johnson, who was master of game hop, master and creator of game hop. It's pretty much nerdcore hip hop rap, but it's more like his style called game hop. And then there was a band called the Radioactive Chickenheads.
Did you connect with them?
Yeah, I did actually. My Radioactive Mouse, you know what I mean? The funny thing was everybody in the band had these really huge like paper mache chicken heads while they were performing, and then the lead singer has a carrot for a head. I don't know
What?
where that that radioactive chicken. I don't know where that comes from. It was just weird, and they were more performance oriented. So when they had a song that was called like a liquid fat or something like that, they had this guy in a sheet with like 2 eyes, and he was just roaming around like a
I
big
don't know
fat
why when
like
you said that title,
fat.
my first thought went to McDonald's.
And
My first thought was Fight
he
Club.
was just
Was what?
Fight Club.
Wow.
and he just wandered around the audience and started talking to everybody. Not talking to everybody. He was just kind of, I'm the fat person. And it was just hilarious, right? One of the other songs was, I think, my mirror or something like that, or my reflection or something like that. And a guy dressed up as the lead singer in the carrot and everything, and it was his reflection, and he kept like fighting with himself. And then another song had like a huge like Easter bunny, and Easter bunny came out and they started fighting, and I was like, oh
I
my
guess that
gosh.
explains the carrot.
Yeah, they they were more into the performance than they were into the actual songs and the singing and everything. So
Was the music still good though?
it was all right. I mean, performance was okay. I think they put their performance over their playing. So and it was kind of a ska-ish type, sound to them. And the last band was called Dreamy. What was it? Dreamy. Kirby's Dream Band. Kirby's Dream Band, not Kirby's Dream Land. Kirby's Dream Band. And it was a
sounds
bunch of
very
guys, awesomely talented, by the way. Like I watched them and I was seeing the way they were playing, and I was like, I can see talent. Those guys were good. And they wore these pink shirts with the little Kirby face on Kirby's face on them. And during each song, they would switch their hats, to the tune of whatever song they were doing. So
Oh, that's cool.
they did a Street Fighter song. They do covers for old games. So like they did one for Chrono Trigger, and all of them had hats that were indicative of the characters in Chrono Trigger. And they had a Street Fighter song. They wore these hats indicative of the Street Fighter characters, and it was really cool. I mean, they were really tight, and they had a really, really good.
Wow, he really just said
Sound.
tight.
Huh? Yeah. Unfortunately, by the time people will hear this, Kirby's Dream Band will have given away their first album for free, called the Pink Album, and it was going to be on what is a website called Bandcamp, and it's going to be this Friday, which by the time you guys hear this, it's going to be already done. But me and all the other people are going to get it for free. Hell yeah!
Are they just doing it for that one day?
Yeah, they're doing it just for that one day.
Oh, sucks
They
for you guys at home.
They actually had a Kickstarter, and their Kickstarter was successful to produce their first album.
Oh, cool.
So I think I don't know what if they had to do anything with the rights to those songs. I would assume that they had to use some of that money to buy the rights to cover them.
Yeah,
But-
it'd be the mechanical rights, the performance rights, and then depending on if they have to do any like music videos for it or stuff like that, they would have to get the sync rights as well.
Yeah.
But at least 2 out of the 3 main ones, yes.
Yeah, the great thing was that the Kirby's Dream Band had, their swag. They had like shirts and everything. There goes my phone, which is on silent.
I could still hear it.
Yeah, whatever.
Vibrate.
The Radioactive Chicken Heads were displaying their game. They actually made a game.
They have a game?
Yeah, featuring their likenesses in the game, which I thought was kind of funny.
Do they all have chicken heads?
Radioactive Chicken Heads.
Oh,
But
dear.
overall, GamerCon was great. There was a couple of one-person plays. One was from a black woman, and her play was called "I Wish My Life Was an RPG." It was a really good one-person play, and she basically was expressing what it was like to be a woman and black and a gamer in a gamer culture, and the kind of struggles she had to go through. And a lot of them were struggles that we all go through individually, but and we all get segregated somehow. We all get called names, and she had this incredible performance, and at the very end I was just like, wow, this is really touching. The other guy, a one person play, was called Gamers with a 3, GAM 3 R, as in replacing the
Yeah.
E with
Okay.
R 3, and Gamers That Play, and that one was about a guy, typical white guy. He works at a tech support office, and it's really just him in his little cubicle, and he doesn't have a monitor, so it's kind of invisible monitor, but you're it's kind of imagining that he has a monitor in front of him, and while he's doing tech support, he is trying to organize this massive raid on on an MMO, imaginary MMO, and he's calling people, and his girlfriend visits the office, and his boss comes, and he's dealing with his cubicle, his cubicle mate, over the other side of the wall, and it's just, they don't show up physically, like the girlfriend doesn't show up or the boss doesn't show up, but he makes it really sound like they're there. Like, oh, sorry, Bob, Miss whatever. I'm just doing my report. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I'll get them right. I'm really, really sorry. And then he'll switch. It's almost like someone, like a real person would, right? He switches to his rate. Okay. All right, we're gonna go into this to the castle, and don't go there. And his work as a tech support calls, and he has to balance all that while he's trying to organize this raid. And it was just a really, really good play, and he's like, it just seems like he was so on it, like it was a typical day. It was so good. I cannot recommend it anymore. I got a t-shirt that said "Made of Awesome." I was like, yeah. But that was my GamerCon experience, and I was really, really fired up about that. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna take a short break, and after the short break, I'm going to talk about Siguraf, and then we're going. And it's not gonna be as long, but then we're gonna go into the news, and then we're gonna go into other segments. So peace.
This is Deacon from Radio 1337. You're listening to Urban Nights Radio, the sound of artists.
This is Vixen from Radio 1337. You're listening to Urban Nights Radio, the sound of artists.
All right, we're back. Radio 1337, urbanizeradio.com, the sound of people talking into microphones and doing nothing but sitting around and talking into microphones.
And having fun.
And having fun.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Don't forget that aspect.
What?
What?
Occasionally.
Occasionally, yeah. Yeah. So after all that was said and done, I'm coming into my week and I'm super busy, and I'm realizing that there's Siguraf 2013. Now, if you guys don't know, Siguraf is spelled Siggraph, and by the time people listen to it, it would already been passed by a week. But today was the last day of Siguraf, and it's the only time I was able to actually go. Siguraf is...
No wonder you were busy.
Oh my gosh, I was all over the place. Siguraf is a convention specifically for animators and people in the computer animation industry. And when you go into it, there's several different, things you can go to. There are panels. There was a whole section of emerging technology. There was another section specifically for the exhibits and, what typically you see. In the back, there was a job fair. And it was just a really good show. Although I do have to say the show wasn't as big as it used to be when I used to go. And this year it was in Anaheim, California, at the Anaheim Convention Center. So, the things that I saw from SIGGRAPH 2013 was just the emergent technologies was really cool. I remember seeing a video back in about a month ago, and they were trying to show how people can be around the world. And they had this thing. You remember watching Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah.
You guys watch Wreck-It Ralph? No.
Really?
So
No.
if you guys watch Wreck-It Ralph, remember when Ralph goes into that video game simulation, the war with the aliens?
Wait,
right?
a video game simulation within a
that's
video game?
Hero's Duty, isn't it?
Yeah, the Hero's Duty. He goes into the Hero's Duty game, right?
Mhm.
And he's one of the characters, but the player is this kind of this monitor on wheels
With a really bad attitude.
with a
Yeah.
really bad attitude, right? So there was a bunch of those running around
Oh
SIGGRAPH.
god, that'd be creepy.
And it was actually people that had logged in from different parts of the world, and they were just roaming around like
On
these little
TV
wheelie
screens.
things, like running around these monitors. It was
Like
so
the-
cool,
like-
but it was so creepy.
I bet it was. Like, all I can imagine is like little RC cars with like TVs fastened to them on a stand.
Yeah, and I was in the emerging technologies area, and they had this it was living art form, what they call it, a living art form, and it was like all this wood and it was split into all these little pieces, and every once in a while this mist would come down, and the mist would warp the wood, right? And it would, as the show went on, they kept misting it and misting it and misting it, and the wood would warp just gradually throughout the day. And I walked up to this thing, and there was like that thing, right? The little wheels with the
monitor.
the monitor, and it looked like it was just observing it, and like it just looked weird.
Technology is observing nature for the first
Yeah,
time.
well, yeah. There was another
Observing its
one.
unnatural
I
habitat.
don't really remember what it was called. It was using the Kinect and a projector, and what it did was it was basically expanding your living room. And what it did was you're looking at the TV, you're looking at kind of like this enclosed space.
Mhm.
And what the projector did and what the Kinect read what was in the room, and the projector projected what would be beyond what was the television, and it would project it on the wall, even if you had furniture or whatever. It would just project it onto the wall like this enhanced experience. It's really really cool.
It sounds cool, but at the same time, I'm just thinking that's creepy.
It's creepy, but it could be. Yeah, well,
Or
the first thing
being
I thought was
watched.
porn, but whatever.
See,
No, I could
Wow.
totally see that. It's like, hey, it's a swinger party,
Oh my god.
in my living room.
Wow.
I'm not normally the one that'll plug my laptop into the TV and watch horror games.
No, that would be creepy. That would be
Yeah.
creepy. Not creepy in the weird way, but creepy in the really scary kind of
Yeah.
weird way. But yeah, SIGGRAPH also
Very
showed,
elaborate.
huh?
Very elaborate.
Well, imagine how
SIGGRAPH,
it would be if you played like Nintendo Land. You got your main screen would be in the middle, and then you got the other players on the wall.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what,
that would be-
yeah. So in the exhibit hall, the big thing for SIGGRAPH was about 3D printing. Like
Ooh.
every other, it was either 3D printing or virtual reality. That was the big thing this year. Now, if the booth didn't have all these little things that was printed out in 3D, it was like some kind of virtual reality thing. Like Canon had this like binoculars thing that you held up like binoculars, and it projected this 3D image or whatever that you can walk around. It was, and a bunch of other places were pretty much, that was pretty much it. It was either 3D printing, virtual reality, or like some kind of weird booth that allowed you to relax, right? It was like massaging techniques or like,
Go on.
not those massaging techniques, but
What, you telling me
yeah.
you can't 3D print someone to give me a massage?
Boy.
they are they're printing 3D guns out there.
Yeah, I know. We already heard about
that's
that.
pretty
That's old
crazy.
news.
But
Cool.
that's pretty much my SIGGRAPH 2013 in a nutshell. The last thing I saw before I left was it was a Monsters University panel, and they were talking about all the characters and how they built their characters and how they animated all their characters. And I was
Oh,
like,
I would've
oh, dude,
loved
I
to
was
seen
so
that.
loving that. Unfortunately, I had to leave, and I had to come over here to the show. And I was
Oh my
sitting
God.
in traffic. There was 2 accidents on the way here, so I've been so like frustrated in my head.
Well, we're glad you could join us.
Well, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
But
Wait, what's that? How are you gonna like laugh like Snively Whiplash's dog right after just? We're glad you're here.
There was a very specific laugh with him, right?
Yeah, I can't even do it. It's just like that. Like,
It was something like that.
yeah, it's tough to do.
It is. When I was a kid, I was able to do it like perfectly, but
Well, yeah, that's because it just came out when you were a kid.
yeah, right. Yeah,
you
when
were
I
like
when,
looking
when,
at, you're like, I want to be in the anthill mob when I grow up.
when my mom would drive me to school in her dinosaur,
Yeah,
What?
pretty much.
it's like, say goodbye to Dino. Bye, Dino. See you at home.
The good old days.
Yeah, when we used to ride our dinos without our helmets on, and that's how it was back in the day, man. Right before consoles, before the internet, that's what it was, man. Dude, you know what? I've been talking this whole time. I'm just gonna shut up, and I'm gonna take a break. After we take a break, we're gonna do Vixen's segment, and then we're gonna go into the news, and then I'm gonna shut up right now. We're gonna have another break. Peace. This is Mouse from Radio 1337, and you're listening to Urban Nights Radio, the sound of artists. All right, we're back. The sound of artists, Urban Nights Radio, Radio 1337.
Could you have made that any more jumbled?
It was backwards, bud.
Sounded forced.
Well, I was trying
Artist sound 1337 radio ukulele something.
I'm gonna shut up now. You go. You that one. You that one with the Vixen. Yeah, you go do your segment right now. What?
You got me laughing. God, today's weapon is a sickle and chain weapon.
Also known as the Kusarigama.
Thank you. God.
You know, it sounds like a character name in Bleach.
It probably is.
Probably.
Like he ran out of every other idea.
All right, tell us about the sickle and chain.
You've seen in history class, or if any of you remember history class, if you stayed awake, that farmers were usually depicted with sickles or little scythes used to cut grain. That was actually, as I said, or used as a farm tool. That was later developed for protection in the Asian countries, like in Japan and China. Farmers would use it against bandits or rogue samurai. And they later developed it to have a balance weight so that they could throw it at their enemies and pull it back. That's the sickle and chain.
So wait a second, is this something like a Mr. Miyagi thing where like they've been, in the fields all day using the sickle and they're like, left, right, left, and then all of a sudden they just know how to use it against bandits?
It was more of, it's a blade, so like it's something they had on hand.
Because I can see kind of the evolution of this, right? So
Yeah,
the
it's
traditional sickle, right? The traditional like.
Well, looking at the weapon looks.
Let me
pretty
finish.
Cool. Oh.
You're just like interrupting me. All right. The traditional sickle, right, is the thing that the Grim Reaper has, right, that you normally see. But in Asian cultures, it's usually like this like wooden pole, a really small wooden pole, and then it has this
That's what
like
she said.
literally curved blade at the end, right?
Yes.
And then from the back is like a chain and then another like handle, I guess. That's really just a handle. You can go on. You can go ahead right now.
It's very sharp at the end.
The blade can either be curved or straight. The counterweight on the other end, the little handle as you described it. Tengu is messing with my mic.
All right, go ahead and say all of that again.
Let's start over?
No, you don't have to start over.
Okay.
This is where you talked up.
Okay.
Whatever sentence you were saying, because, talking to the mic.
Got little handle, as you call it, what is a counterweight so that when they, again, threw the weapon, they could use it to knock out enemies. They could use it to trap prey or keep, if their enemies were running away from them, they could throw the counterweight end to circle around their ankles and trap them and trip them. It was fairly decent weapon. You usually see it with normally the stereotypical Asian characters like ninja or spy, Grim Reapers, as you said.
Or if anyone has watched, the anime Inuyasha, of course.
Love that show.
Yes.
Inuyasha.
Buy me Inuyasha. Buy me Inuyasha.
You remember that promo they were doing on Adult Swim? It was just like a bunch of people just saying Inuyasha. And it was just Inuyasha, 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 Inuyasha.
Yeah, that was a
Like
while
30
ago.
different characters.
But yes, one character in particular from Inuyasha is Kohaku, a demon slayer, but also depicted as a ninja.
Ninja.
Other characters, for those who watched Digimon, you might remember Phantom Mon, who used a scythe, but it also on the end it had a chain, so that would qualify it as a sickle and chain.
Those guys didn't really have very creative names for like people, did they?
Well, no, they weren't all too deep.
This person has a sickle. What are we gonna call him? Sickle Con.
Sickle Con. What are we back to Transformers?
Oh, yeah, that's a Transformers version. Sicklemon.
I'm like that's
Sickle.
like the medieval version of Megatron right there. Just instead of turning into a gun, he transforms into a sickle and chain.
Yup.
Oh, jeez.
Yup.
Yeah.
Actually, he did use an interesting weapon, but that's for a later date.
Who, Megatron?
Yeah, he did. I did not.
Yeah, he transformed into a traditional weapon. The tank.
He actually had an energy weapon, energy melee weapon, in one of the shows.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. That's
well,
what we're
he
going
did
on
it.
about. Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't transform into an energy melee
Yeah,
weapon.
I thought you were
he
talking about, like,
transformed
his
into a gun, a tank, whatever. He did transform into in Beast Wars.
A Tyrannosaurus.
A Tyrannosaurus, whatever.
And then later, like a dragon. That thing was so cool. When the dragon first came out of the lava, I was like, I want that toy. Like merchandising, got me completely. And then as soon as it came out, I was just like, buy me Megatron, buy me Megatron, buy me Megatron.
Nice.
All right, so who else?
For those girl gamers who play the phone dating simulators,
Ooh.
Shall We Date Ninja Love? The character Saizo Saizo uses a sickle and chain weapon.
Wow, how do you use that in dating?
The story
Kinky.
behind that is you're
What it was her last name originally Bobbit?
I'm going to try to
Oh,
ignore
this is for some of our more dated readers. or listeners.
Yeah, if you don't know Bobbit, wiki it and you'll find out.
that. Another character is Hattori Hanzo from Samurai Warriors and Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden.
Oh.
Just one of those other ones. It's not one of his main weapons, but you do see it occasionally, and it is available. But those are the characters, or some of the known and unknown characters that use the sickle and chain or the Kusarigama weapon.
How about in like in the God of War, Kratos weapons? What was that? Was that blade of? Was that Athena?
Yeah, he
Is
kind
that
of had
similar
like this
to-
like chainish thing that he.
I'd have
Like
to look at
comes
it
out.
honestly. As much as I hate to say it, I have not played the God of War series yet.
Oh.
I've been wanting to. I've been really wanting to, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Man. Well,
Are
Blades
you
of
even
Athena.
Are you even a gamer?
Yes, I am.
You
in
shame me.
secret.
You
hey,
shame me.
Do you know what girls
I
have to
I
go
turned my
through?
back to you.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I was busy playing Mark and the Ninja, and Thomas was alone on Steam.
You were busy playing like dating sim games with people
What?
with sickles.
All the
'Cause that's
visual
obviously
novels.
where you got it from.
No.
Trying to transfer that into real life, it doesn't work, girl. I'm gonna do a dating sim. I'll bring my sickle and chain with me. They're definitely gonna date me now. All right.
I'll
I'm
leave
totally
that to my other friends who do play those games.
I'm totally kidding.
Oh.
Anyway,
Is
so
that-
what? Anything else you want to talk about for this particular item? This particular item?
No,
Anything?
that covers it for the sickle and chain.
Oh, cool, awesome, and that's your weapon segment. Okay, so we're back. We're here, Radio 1337.
Wait a sec, was that supposed to be a commercial break?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks. Okay, so hold on. Hey, this is Tengu from Radio 1337, and you are listening to Urban Nights Radio, the sound of artists. Okay, we're back with Radio1337.com, the sound of people not telling me when commercial breaks are supposed to happen.
Well, yeah. So what we have here is the news. Finally, we're getting to the news, right?
Woo!
The news. What's happening here? Mad Cats, Mad Cats, they make like peripherals and all that. They revealed the Mojo. It's an Android-based home console, just like the Ouya.
Ooh, original.
What do you know, right? They are now trying to get into the console world, which is pretty sad because we already have something that's already out. It looks like it's capable of streaming like 1080p from like Netflix, and will offer 16 gigs of internal storage and a micro SD expansion slot and 2 USB slots. And just like other Mad Catz peripherals, it's going to sit and it's going to be used for like 2 days before it breaks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Wow.
No one can really say anything otherwise.
Not really.
Like any any.
How much?
Because it's
internal
true.
storage?
Like every time I get a Mad Cat, well, it depends on the Mad Catz peripheral. Because the early Mad Catz peripherals, it was like, oh, it's just a cheap knockoff of like the whatever controller you're getting.
Man, even the not cheap knockoffs were always garbage. Like I had a third like controller for playing Twisted Metal like way back in the day, and that thing just like there was no reason to do it. So if I ever had friends, I was like, you're just gonna have to wait, bro.
I do have to. I do have to
Wow.
say that Mad Catz really did a good controller, like arcade sticks for their fighting games. Really, really good, because they teamed up with what used to be a company called Red Octane, and they actually made really good stuff. But yeah, that's yeah. So let's talk about something cool. That game Torchlight?
Game
It's
for
like
right now.
it's like the game that's like a knockoff of Diablo 2 or Diablo, the game.
Oh,
I have
okay.
heard tell of
Yeah.
this game. Yes.
Yeah, so Torchlight, it was a kind of modern, spin on this game with more cartoony graphics and more cleaner. Has Torchlight 2 out. The Torchlight 2 is the newest one that just came out, and they've sold 2 million copies to date.
Wow.
Wow. How long?
As opposed to the first one, Torchlight sold 1 million copies, which kind of tells you maybe Torchlight 3 will produce 3 million copies, but whatever.
And this was published by Runic Games?
Yeah, Runic Games. Yep.
Okay.
It's actually really good. I like Torchlight. It was really, really good. It really got me back into the whole Diablo thing. It's a dungeon crawler straight up. It's nothing beyond
More so
that.
than the actual Diablo?
Yeah, not really much. You're still clicking around. That's all you're doing. Click, 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 click. That's all it is. But it's still fun. You got anything, Raina? It looks like you're like concentrating on your little computer there.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. What do you got? You gonna steal my thunder? Go ahead.
Oh, no.
No, it's cool. Go ahead.
Not today.
No, what do you got?
Not today.
Come on, tell me what you got.
Hey, I'm pretty gloomy today.
What? I can
Actually,
tell
no,
by the
no.
by the laugh. I'm pretty gloomy.
No, continue on.
Okay,
Please.
so more news from the Microsoft camp. So they've already priced this new Xbox One at like $500. Oh, I'm sorry, $499.
Oh.
But
Little steep there.
unfortunately, Microsoft Xbox One will not have a Kinect-free Xbox bundle. So every Xbox One that you get will have and be required to have a Kinect with it.
Required to have.
Well, it just says that they're not selling the Xbox without the Kinect.
So what if you sell it to a GameStop and then get it used? Do you get it without the Kinect then?
I'm sure you'd have to keep it with the Kinect. Yeah, I'm sure because it comes with the console. So,
Yeah.
Well, get
yeah,
ready
they
to-
just shot down the rumors that the Kinect or the console could be purchased separately. So they just want to keep it together.
And Kinect is how much by itself?
I think it was about I bought it for like $70. Not
Like
bad.
that's $70.
So what you're saying is, Mouse, that if we didn't want to purchase the Kinect, we could essentially be paying the exact same price, more or less, for the Xbox One as we'd be paying for the PlayStation 4, which does not require you to have any sort of peripheral connected to it.
Yes. I think what they're trying to do is they're really trying to push the Kinect ability. Get it? Connectability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be a whole ET situation where there's more connects than systems?
No, not gonna happen. The statement came from a representative. He said, "quote We have no plans to introduce an Xbox One without Connect. We believe in Connect and the value it brings to both games and entertainment, and believe $499 is a great value for what consumers receive with their Xbox One." End quote.
Any games coming with that?
No, it doesn't say anything about games.
Then
you
I
know,
can wait.
Connectimals 5 or
Of
whatever.
course.
I can wait.
Yeah. Let's see. We have another. You guys play Super Smash Brothers?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys,
It's all about Mewtwo.
It's all about, you know. Did you know
No,
that?
it's
Did
in, like-
you ever play the single player mode or story mode in there?
Yes.
You actually do?
Yeah, I do.
Sometimes.
Unfortunately, the next one will not have a story mode. The Wii U and 3DS will not have a story mode because of the internet.
So are you going to have to actually work to unlock the characters by several matches, or is it just going to come with a full roster?
You probably just have to pay for it.
Yeah, you
What?
probably have to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to pay
So
for
what had
characters.
happened was that because
That's horrible.
the movie scenes for the cutscenes, right, were hacked into, uploaded on the internet.
Ah.
The creator was like, no. The creator Masahiro Sakurai. He said nope. He says, quote, "Unfortunately, the movie scenes we worked hard to create were uploaded to the internet." And he said, he
That
continues,
sucks.
"You can only truly wow a player the first time he sees, quote, a cutscene. I felt if players saw the cutscenes outside the game, they would no longer serve as rewards for playing games, so I've decided against having them," end quote. And this was translated through Kotaku.
I guess that
Hmm.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
If Nintendo, if you're listening, don't make the customers pay for the characters, please.
You know, there's, I don't know what they're finally going to end up doing, you know, eventually. I don't know. Whatever.
I hope not.
You know,
money.
I think that they'll just try and have it so that you have to play the character a certain amount of times, then you can unlock them.
That I'm okay with. I'm already a little displeased with their latest update on the 3DS.
Yes.
I'm really stuck on the fact that this guy just pulled a Stephanie Meyer. Like, you remember the news, like, I guess, 3-4 years ago, like, someone had leaked some of the chapters of, like, the 5th Twilight book, and so she was
Oh,
like, oh, you
yeah.
know what? I'm just not going to write it. That's it. You guys don't get any more Twilight books. And then that was it. And so she, like, just started doing, like, some other stuff. It's like, so someone leaks the cutscenes, and this guy's like, oh, okay, fine. No campaign. You know, the only real good. Well, okay, not for Smash Brothers, of course. I'm still a very big campaign advocate, but Smash Brothers really is about multiplayer. But
Well, I guess it's like the artist thing. Like, you know, you're trying to do work for the general public, and you don't want people to see your work in progress. You just want people to see the end product instead of having, you know, people see it prematurely or
Yeah.
not on your time.
yeah, but then it just means that you need to invest in better security for your stuff.
Yeah, apparently.
You know, there's a
Yeah.
reason that you have agreements and other stuff that people have to sign when they work for you. You know, that's why it's called non-disclosure.
Yeah.
But was it hacked from in company or by a player?
I don't know. It doesn't really say it.
Call of Duty,
Speaking-
Smash Brothers.
Speaking of community,
Ugh.
you guys, we've talked about Kickstarter before, right? We've had a lot of discussion
Yeah.
over projects and movie projects and game projects, board games, card games that have been launched on Kickstarter and, you know, successful, non-successful, whatever. So did you know that this can actually, you know, be bad? If you're thinking about donating some money to help Spike Lee get back on his feet, or maybe that, think twice. This guy just raised over $120,000 to make a game and then just walked away with the money.
What?
E.
Yeah, it didn't make the money. Straight up. It's called The Doom That Came to Atlantic City. And, he was originally pledging $35,000 and he got 122,246 backers, and then he just walked.
Wow.
Wow.
Got the
just
money and took off.
Ripped the heart out of gamers.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's people like that that really bring down the whole idea of crowdfunding, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
give crowdfunding a bad name. And you know, this is kind of the danger in actually putting out a Kickstarter. It's not just like, well, you know, all the failed Kickstarters, right? People that will just take advantage of you. And for me, I see Kickstarter as you got to really tread lightly. If you want to get money, you got to build some kind of reputation outside of. You can't just be some random guy and be like, okay, I got my Kickstarter, let's do this. You're not gonna get any money. But if you're like promoting all the time and you're doing well, you got a name for yourself a little bit, and you got a product that's pretty solid. Try Kickstarter. It might work for you. I don't recommend it to everybody.
So now I'm assuming that because this happened, that there's not like any kind of obligations that they have towards really like making their game. There's not any obligations towards like legal kind of stuff, like nothing to where they could be taken to court for doing something like that.
I mean, I hope there is. This
I would hope so too, but
this doesn't give me more
It makes
detail.
me wonder what happens to the money.
Yeah.
you got strippers and
something?
Vegas and beer. It's probably the main things that happen to it.
Yeah, because 10 ones go a long way in strip club.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
And
Things
that's
we learned from
that.
Radio
That
1337.
unfortunately is the news for.
So we're
the
ending
week.
on a down note, really?
No. We're actually
Okay.
gonna end on a pretty good note because what I did was I procured some interviews from GamerCon.
Oh, cool.
I was able to get some interviews with some people, and I have since given it to Tengu, and Tengu will be putting it into the show, along with some other cool goodies that we're gonna be that I've gotten. So I got the album from Game Hop, Godric Johnson, and we'll probably play some of his stuff if you haven't heard it already. And we'll probably play some stuff from Kirby's Dream Band because I literally just got permission from them. He said, "Take anything and everything you want and let them
that's
play
awesome.
it."
Yeah, I
So
actually
they
wanna see that.
were totally like supportive of us, and shout out to those guys, Kirby's Dream Band. Those guys are
Woo.
rad. I never really talked to them personally, but I just no, I saw their talent and they're just really really good. I only talked to them through Facebook.
Okay.
So, but
do they have any kind of website or anything? Just Facebook?
on Facebook they have Kirby's Dream Band. Kirby's Dream Band. Yeah. Kirby's Dream Band.
And again, I feel left out. Everyone has laptops but me.
Like all three of
Yeah,
us just go to like surfing and trying to find it.
Yeah, so they have they're about at 1,443 likes, and there's a lot of people that already like them. It's just cover instrumental stuff, and it's great peeps, good talent. So anyway, do you guys have anything else?
They have a MySpace.
They have a MySpace.
I forget that place even exists.
They revamped everything. Like it was actually
Yeah,
pretty
it was
brilliant, turning it into
totally
just
revamped.
music.
I feel a little bad for them that they need commercials now, though.
Well,
Facebook squashed them.
Well,
Yeah.
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 But I mean, you have to let people know because, like, the joke for a while was, wait, you still use MySpace?
Yeah.
And now it's like, hey, MySpace is like the best place ever for music, man. You got to be on here if you want to do your music. And like everyone's hopping back to it. So it, like I said, it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, so if you want to check out the Radioactive Chicken Heads, they're also on Facebook under the Radioactive Chicken Heads, and you get to see the whole band in all their like digital glory. I posted some stuff up on my Facebook, but on their Facebook they have some pictures from the show, which are pretty cool. And you guys don't know nothing else? Nothing else?
I guess I'm going to be working on the YouTube that we have, radio1337.com. That's DOTCOM.
Yeah, it's spelled out.
But Radio 1337 is still the same way that you see it on the site.
Yep.
Did you
It's
say-
all our old episodes actually, and put up and with our little Radio 1337 logo
On YouTube?
and on YouTube.
Oh,
yes.
cool.
That's
Wow.
the channel. The channel's called Radio 1337. That's Radio 1337
Wow.
DOTCOM. Spelled out like that.
We're going places.
We
Woo.
are next year the world.
Why can't it be next
And
month?
with that, this is Mouse. To my left is
Reina.
to my right,
Vixen.
to my back,
Tengu.
to the front. Wait, no, there's nobody there. This is Radio 1337, UrbanNightsRadio.com, the sound of artists. We're out of here. Peace.
Don't drop the soap.
Peace.
Okay. All right, so we're here with America. What's your last name?
Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
America Young. And she can be found on Twitter, America_Young at
Correct.
Twitter. Oh, it's yes. You know that one, right?
You know it.
So you're mainly mocap
actress. Is that the term?
Yeah, sure.
Tell the audience what you've done.
Things that they might be most familiar with me from. I'm Kinsey on the Saints Row games.
Nice.
Specifically, I'm most of Satil from the trailers for the Old Republic. I didn't do all the flips and stuff, but I did all the facial capture and a lot of the motion capture. I didn't do the voice. I've done Black Ops 2. Dead Space 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Those are the most recent things I've worked. Uncharted 2 and 3. Those are the things I've worked on a lot of motion capture for.
What do you find the most difficult for being a motion capture artist?
That's such a good question. It's the most fun part about it is that you usually get to play 4 or 5 different characters, and it's all showing your physicality of your body. In terms of difficult, sometimes what's challenging is usually what you're doing is it's like your body syncing to voiceover that they're playing on a loop over again. Your fingers have to match the beats of the actors, and I remember on one of the games there was a celebrity voicing the lead, and I won't say who, but he was not good at voiceover, and he was very flat, and he wasn't a voiceover actor, he was just a celebrity, and it was interesting because the character had to get really angry and ugly. That was a transformation of the character, but his acting was super flat. So it was interesting to watch, for motion capture, they got much more physical and didn't match the voice. So that's sometimes when it's challenging, is when the voice acting isn't done by professional voiceover actors, and therefore it doesn't match what it should be doing. Because this particular celebrity refused to do more than one take on any of the lines. And so that's when it's challenging. But other than that, it's really not too much of a challenge. It's just being able to walk and talk at the same time.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And if there was any kind of advice you want to give to people that are trying to get in the industry, I know this is a question that people ask you all the time, but what would you give?
For motion capture, movement. So being able to move. So not necessarily moving well, but knowing how to move in character. So take martial arts classes, take dance class, do theater. Actually, doing theater is probably the best training you could possibly do for motion capture. And then just look for castings, because they're posting castings on a lot of bigger sites now.
How would you set up a reel if you were to do that?
For motion capture, it's just basically showing your movements. I have a stunt reel, and then I have an acting reel, so then the two of them combined. But usually they honestly just want to see you walking, running, doing some basic martial arts, doing some falls. But the main thing is getting people who can walk and run normally, which is, I know, really strange. Like, I've booked so many video games just because I can run not like a girl, is what I've been told.
That's strange. Well, thank you, America, for helping us out. Thank you for your time, and
thank you for asking.
We'll definitely hang out some more during GamerCon.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up? This is Mouse. I'm here at GamerCon in San Diego, and I'm here joining us right now is Aaron Robinson. All right. I didn't even walk in 2 steps, and I saw this little indie game that kind of looks like a mix between Spirograph and that old Spirograph, drawing game-ish type thing, and Angry Birds Space, where you have to kind of maneuver your birds around these concentric gravity-based planets or whatever. But Aaron, why don't you just give us a little bit of information beyond what I've already told about the game?
So it's a platformer with a twist, I guess is the way I describe it, because you can run all the way around these little 2D planets. People have described it as like Mario Galaxy 2D, but basically you're running and jumping and using the force of gravity to move yourself around. And I've never actually seen a platformer do this before. There are the games that let you hop between planets, but this is actually pretty much a physics game. So I tell people it's like, little Prince style. You can walk all the way upside down on the planets and stuff. You're moving through this kind of radial space. And I call them soft puzzles. You have to think about gravity, think about your trajectory, but everything's always the gravity's always updating. If you mess up, you just come around again. It's very forgiving, very peaceful and zen and floaty and whatnot. There's only 3 real buttons in the game besides up, which means that you cross the level. You go left and right, and then the space, which is a jump. And when you're jumping between planets or bodies or whatever, you're constantly just flying off the deep end, and it seems like you're going to just go crazy, but the gravity kind of pulls you back in. It's very, very cool. Is there a website where we can kind of check out this game? Yep, so gravityghost.com. I have a development blog I try to update pretty often. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is livelyivy, ivy like the plant, or my main blog is livelyivy.com.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Aaron. I hope to see this in the future because this is a very fun game. I was really getting into it, and
He was.
thank you, Aaron, for giving us the time. And we're gonna check out this other guy's little indie project here. But this is the first of many, man. We're gonna be rocking it here over at GamerCon. This is Mouse out.